All right, what is going on, guys? Happy Monday. Welcome back to the channel. We've got NBA during the day. Pretty fantastic. We've got the college football playoffs tonight. We've got the national championship, Ohio State, Notre Dame. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. If you haven't yet, join the Discord. Absolutely free. We're going to be dropping some same-game parlays today. We're going to switch it up, have a little bit of fun in there. We're going to be dropping some college basketball plays. You name it. So link is down below. Completely free to join. Let's get into this card in the NBA. So we've got the Mavs and the Hornets. We see the Mavs minus 5.5. Lively is a game time decision. There is a play I do have on the card with him. Hopefully he plays. I would lean in this one, Charlotte, plus 5.5. Just a gut feeling. I think they're going to have a decent day. I would lean towards the over 223.5 if you don't want to play either of these teams. Can't blame you. Next game, Pistons and the Rockets. We see Rockets minus 7.5 at home against the Pistons. Not something I would want to take. I'd lean towards the under 222.5 or Pistons team total under is where I like in that card. If I had to pick a side, I'd probably actually go Houston minus 7.5. Just the better team. Minnesota Timberwolves and the Grizz going to be one of our higher over-unders, although we got a decent amount today in terms of that. I mean, we've got some decently paced teams going up against each other. We see Minnesota plus 5.5 against the Grizz. The Grizz have a couple of game time decisions in this one. A lot of injuries today make it really hard to handicap who's going to win. I mean, Ja's the biggest game time decision for him here. And then on the Minnesota side of the ball, you've got a couple. You got Gobert and you got DiVincenzo. Now, really hard to prop or to handicap props for the T-Wolves when you have Gobert and DiVincenzo out, right? If you have Gobert out, Julius Randle over 7.5 rebounds, I like it. If you have DiVincenzo out, which it says he's out, we'll see. Sometimes that's not always accurate. Now that means Conley moves into the point guard spot, Ant goes back to the shooting guard spot. So I know taking Ant assist has been pretty popular lately. One play I didn't pull the trigger on, but I like is Ant under 6.5 rebounds. This line tells me that they think that Gobert's probably not going to play. Factor that with Randall 7.5 rebounds. So that is a slight lean, is taking the under 6.5 rebounds for Ant. In terms of the winner in this game, I would take Memphis minus 5.5. Just a pretty good team at home. Minnesota on the road's been a little bit suspect. Over 235.5 is a really high line for a T-Wolves game, but I do think we're going to see a pretty quick pace. So I do like the over 235. Hawks and the Knicks. We've got several game time decisions in this one. Jalen Johnson should play. Technically listed as a game time decision. Trae Young is a game time decision. Probably plays. On the New York side of the ball, we've got Josh Hart and Cat are both game time decisions. So really can't put any props in until you know who's going to play in that game. So that's one where we'll be dropping some plays in the Discord once we know, have a better understanding of the injury report here. But in terms of picking a winner, again, really hard with Cat and Hart out. I wouldn't trust Knicks minus 6.5 with those two out. So really hard to say in this one. I would have a lean towards the over 235.5, given that the Hawks do not play defense and the Knicks do a pretty good job scoring at home. Maybe look at a team total over under, but again, really can't handicap until you know the injury report. Phoenix Suns and the Cavs. This one should be a pretty good game. We see Phoenix getting 7.5 on the road at Cleveland. I think that's fairly accurate. We do have a play in this one on the card. I think this line's really perfectly placed, to be honest with you. No Mobley tonight, so we'll have to see how that affects the team. I mean, we saw Mitchell went out and they got it was like a totally different team, almost lost to Toronto at home. So without Mobley out, that does have a pretty significant impact. I just don't think Karis LeVert is the same person. So I'd actually lean Phoenix plus 7.5 in this one. With a slight baby lean towards the under 235.5. Boston Celtics and the Golden State Warriors. See Boston minus 10.5 on the road, going up against Golden State. And again, another injury on this one. Steph is a game time decision. No Draymond Green, no Kuminga, no Podzimski. So a lot of question marks in this one. Boston very healthy, so we know it'll be their normal starting lineup. So I don't take double-digit spreads, but if it comes out Curry's out, I don't know how you don't take Boston minus 10.5 in this contest. I would lean towards the over 223.5. Jazz and the Pelicans got a lot of injuries for Utah. We've got Clarkson out, Collins out, Markkanen's going to be out, Colin Sexton's going to be out. So one name that's really, he's been popping off is Collier. Man, this guard's been on fire in terms of getting assists. So his assist line's at 7.5 tonight. He just got 11 versus the Pelicans in the last game. So I might look at that. It's kind of a strong lean, but again, I need to see who's in, who's out on the Pelican side of the ball. So we've got DeJounte Murray's a game-time decision. Yves Missy's a game-time decision. I do have Yves on the card. Zion is a game-time decision, as always. Brandon Ingram's going to be out. Herb Jones is going to be out. So it's just a really tough game to handicap with all these injuries. I'm not taking the Pelicans minus 11. I can promise you that. I would lean towards the under 232.5 in this game. All right, last game on the card, Bulls and the Clippers. No Kawhi. Kawhi's not going to play back-to-back, so Clippers just played last night against the Lakers, so he will definitely be out. On the Chicago side of the ball, Lonzo Ball is a game-time decision. Kobe White's a game-time decision. That's really about it in terms of impactfulness. I would take the Clippers minus 5.5, but this is more like I would do some money line plays here. Like I like Clippers money line. I think that's pretty safe. You could pair that with like a Boston money line, do things like that. Over under 226.5, lean over. It's kind of high for a Clippers game. It's extremely low for a Bulls game. So somewhere right in between, I like the over in that spot. All right, let's get into the national championship and then we will get you guys on your way. So I think it's going to be a good game. That said, you look behind me, I'm pretty sure you can figure out which side I'm on. So am I biased? Absolutely. There is inherent bias there. I can promise you that. Ohio State minus 8.5 is strong. The way I bet this, to be honest, is I took Ohio State down to minus 5.5, took their team total over 23.5, paired that together, and that was my play for this game. Ultimately, I'll probably do another one with Ohio State minus 8.5. We're going to do a little bit of gambling because I'm going to be watching every minute of it. I could definitely see Ohio State, potentially winning by 10 plus. So I would say rather than doing the minus 8.5, I might just jack it up a little bit to get some plus odds here. In terms of an over-under of 45.5, pretty light for a national championship game, I would say. I have a lean towards the over 45.5. I think Notre Dame is able to move the ball. They do have, a dual threat option there. And we've seen Ohio State sometimes struggle against that dual threat. So I think they are going to be able to move the ball. But ultimately, I think Ohio State's offense is just too good, man. They can do it any way you want, right? They can do it through the air, on the ground. They've got weapons everywhere. Their third string or their number 3 wide receiver is probably as good as most teams won. So just too much from an offensive standpoint here for me to back Notre Dame in this game. Now, we did see a really good game against Ohio State, and Notre Dame came down to the very, very end. But that was on the road in South Bend, in Notre Dame's field. Jesus. Anyway, so in my opinion, Ohio State here. I just don't see a path to take Notre Dame, but that's me. I forgot to recap yesterday. I've been forgetting lately. It was a winning day, but it wasn't like an amazing winning day. We had a 3-2 in the NBA, I think 4-3 in the NFL. So just a light winning day, but man, those games were fun. That Bills Ravens game was pretty epic, and then it got real sweaty in the Eagles game. I had Eagles minus 5.5 on a few slips, so boy, that came down to the very end. And all those people who had Eagles minus 6.5, I feel terrible that you got backdoor covered there. That was pretty brutal. All right, let's get into our best bets. Get you guys on your way. First play on the card today is going to be Derek Lively. We're going to take a combo here. We're going to do over 7.5 points paired with 7 rebounds. Pair those together, you get plus money. Charlotte 15th in points to the center position. I think it just lines up really well. Mark Williams has been a nice injection of offense here, but defensively, he's not amazing in terms of stopping people from scoring. He's done great in getting the boards. But if we look at Charlotte, 15th in points to the center position, more in the 22nd, 23rd with Mark Williams, and then they're 21st in rebounds. Next play is going to be Mark Williams. This guy's been on an absolute tear lately, so I like his over 29.5 PRA. With no Nick Richards now, his minutes have gone way up. He's playing 30-plus minutes. You can pretty much lock that in. And in the last 3 games, his PRA has been 44, 46, and 41. So has just blown over this line in the last 3 games. I think it's going to be just kind of a good pace game where we're going to see a lot of offense. Next play is going to be Zach LaVine, over 8.5 rebounds plus assists. He's over this in 5 straight games. Clippers are 18th in rebounds to the shooting guard position, 13th in assists to the shooting guard position. So very mid, and he's been, double digits over the last 5 games. So we're getting good value here, in my opinion. Next play is going to be Cade Cunningham. We're going to back him here. Better not let us down. Over 8.5 assists. We've been playing his under, but I like the over here. He's over this in 3 straight versus Houston. He had 9 in the 1 game they played against them this season. But even if we stretch this out over the last 30 games, he's got a 73, 74% hit rate. He's over this in 22 of his last 30 games. I was kind of debating on this or under his points total. So his points total is 27.5. Historically, guards do pretty well against Houston, but man, that is a really high line for him. So went back and forth, ultimately decided to go with the assist. Next play is going to be Trae Young, under 3.5 3-pointers made. He's only hit this in 7 of his last 20 games. Against the Knicks, he's hit this 3 times in 11 games. Now, he's under this in 8 straight versus the Knicks. So we've just got good value here. He's on the road, right? I know guys want to show up at the Garden. He could show out. If he hits this, tip the cap. But just historical trends here say he's most likely to go under. Now, next play is going to be another combo play here. So we're going to do Nick Richards to get 8 points and 8 rebounds. He's got a 100% hit rate on this when he plays at least 25 minutes. Cleveland, not very good at limiting rebounds. They're 29th in rebounds allowed to the center position. I almost stopped playing this as a double-double at plus money. Still might make my card at some point today. He had 11 or 12 rebounds in his debut and had like 20 points. He went off. So he is going to get the minutes. I mean, Plumlee is not a great center, so he will get a vast majority of the minutes. Nurkic is pretty much just out the door by now. Last play on the card, if he plays, is going to be Yves Missy, under 9.5 rebounds. He's under this in every game when Zion plays. So we are hedging a little bit that both he and Zion play. I don't really see a reason why Zion doesn't play. I think he's just listed as a game time decision because he's fat and out of shape. But he's under this in every game when Zion's played. He's under this in 6 of his last 7 games. So we've got good trends here that I like on this play. So those are the plays, guys. Like I said, join the Discord. We're going to be dropping college plays today. We're going to be dropping same game parlays. Absolutely free to join. Link is down below. And I will catch you guys in the next video.